And we're back with Unforgettable Conversations, Season 3, Episode 12. And today we are on the road. We're actually on our way to go pick up the one and only Skipper. And we have today Donnie Darko as our guest.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? It's been a while. Missed you.
We all missed you. It's a new year. And this is going to be one of our first and many on the road podcasts. I have to credit Tim T for giving us the idea of on the road podcast. He had some interesting ideas as far as doing, I think he said camping.
Oh yeah,
Do a camping one.
yeah, we got
Go to the beach, and then obviously do a drive podcast. Now,
Yeah.
I do apologize for any audio. Obviously, we're using microphones on this, but it's going to be a little bit rough because the road is rough. But
Yeah.
let's get started with you, Danny.
Yeah.
What you got? What you got going on?
I'm just going to Mexico. We're trying to bust a mission, trying to retrieve the target, or retrieve the package.
The package. Pick up the package and retrieve it.
Yeah. There's a little mix-up in the flight. Actually, do you want to tell him what happened?
Yeah. So actually,
It's kind of his fault. It was kind of his fault.
It's kind of my fault. Okay, so originally, the Bromigo, Alex, aka Skipper, was he went to Mexico for 2 weeks, give or take.
Yeah. something like
And what ended up happening was I had told him, like, hey, since you're going to be in Mexico and I'm going to pick you up from the airport from LAX, like, why don't you change your flight to Tijuana, and we'll meet you down there. We'll stay over there, stay the night, and we'll end up, I think, spending the weekend there.
Yeah.
And then we'll eat some tacos, go from there, come make our way back all together. That way you'll just fly directly there from Mexico City to Tijuana, close to the border, and
Yeah.
bada bing, bada boom, we enjoy ourselves and enjoy a weekend with him in Mexico. But plans changed. Things happened. Unfortunately, I had told him already, change your flight and then we'll meet you over there. So he changed his flight thinking, okay, well, everything's going good. I'll meet you guys in Tijuana, in Mexico. And you guys will pick me up from there. Little did we know, the trip pretty much got canceled. So instead, what we ended up doing was now we have to drive 3 hours, take him up, probably spend a little bit of time there, but drive another 3 hours to come back. So it's going to be a interesting trip. Indeed.
It's going to be quite a journey for sure. But you know what? The good thing is that, the last couple days, it's been raining a lot.
It has been raining a lot.
So, we're getting some good scenery. We're not going through the PCH. We're not taking the 1. We're not looking, at the ocean or anything. We're going through the 101 and we're seeing all these hills, but they're really bright. They're really green,
You guys can actually see some of it back there, but
I see some, yeah. But no, I mean, these things, it looks beautiful.
And you guys got to remember, we live in California, so This place is always in a drought.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And all the scenery is like practically dead all the time because there's just not enough water. So it's kind of nice seeing the green scenery around us in areas that we're just so used to seeing just dark.
Yeah. It's not. It's nice when something actually comes to fruition. Like the saying, it's greener on the other side, and it's actually greener on the other side now. So that's a good thing.
Well, it's greener on all sides.
What do you mean?
I mean, like it's greener on all sides.
Well, like what I'm saying is, like, just because it's greener. It's greener is what I'm saying. But nonetheless,
have you ever heard the saying, "It's greener on the other side" when you haven't watered your side?
Did you just make that up?
No, I've heard that a couple times. Yeah, because people always say like, "Oh, it's always greener on the other side." And it's like, well, yeah, when you don't keep up your lawn, it does always look greener on the other side.
That's true.
That was actually, I think I got it from the other podcast, Hear Me Out, with Kaz and Lula.
Oh, they said that, or what?
I think they said that. I think it might have been Lula that said it in her podcast.
It's greener on the other side.
It's greener on the other side when you haven't watered your lawn.
Oh, that's actually a very good saying.
It's a good quote.
Yeah.
So let's get into something that you're interested in, Danny.
I like girls,
He likes
but
girls. But he also likes guys.
What am I interested in?
Gaming,
I'm interested in gaming. I'm interested in music, singing, writing songs.
Believe it or not,
poetry.
Danny has made some of the best songs out there. I always tell him to let me post them, but he doesn't want to let me post them. So, if anybody out there wants to listen to Danny's music, let me know.
The culture's not ready. They're not ready.
They're always ready. There's people out there.
Actually,
You need to be ready.
I'm not ready for it. Nah, what I always tell Joel is like, I would like to drop it, but it's like I just don't feel like it's good enough yet. Like maybe the song's complete. Like maybe the song could be complete or everything, but like production wise, like I feel like it can always be produced better, and that's what I want to get better at. I want to get better at producing. You know, it doesn't have to be like studio style, but like I want my songs to like sound as good as possible. Like I don't want to just drop them and like they're like like.
But that's the thing. It's never gonna be perfect.
No. I'm not saying, but there is a certain like threshold, or there is a certain like certain like up to par that you have to be with. Like you listen to certain songs, and you'll hear like, okay, like I can really hear the bass in this one. I can really hear like all the instruments, all the like voices. I can hear it very clearly. Like everything is distinctly noticeable if you actually pay attention to it.
Right.
But the thing is with like if you ever hear just like a voice recording, you can't really hear, like things are muffled up, things are so I want to make things sound clearer. I want to make things sound like just better, like in terms of there are certain sounds and stuff like there's when it comes to like pianos and stuff, like let's just go basic into pianos. Or even pianos, organs, any of the key instruments. There's a software called Keyscape.
Which ones are the key instruments? I know, like obviously, piano and an organ, but like
yeah. So
like guitar is not a key instrument, right?
No. But ironically, the piano, the grand piano itself, it's technically a string instrument.
Oh,
because there's strings inside the grand.
Oh, okay, I think I understand now.
And
what
then
a
technically,
key
I
is.
guess you could say a organ would be a horn because it's like it uses the horn. But nonetheless, like when I'm talking about like keyboards, I'm talking about like just the ones that have keys like piano,
synthesizer,
keyboard, synthesizer, an organ.
What's that one that the accordion?
Accordion, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose that could be
that could be
key instrument. Yeah.
Oh, that would be kind of a mixture of both, wouldn't it? Both,
mixture
like
of what?
Like a pipe,
a wind,
and a key.
I don't know. I don't know where to put that one actually. But yeah. Anyways, those specifically, those keyboards. There's a software. So there's different softwares. Obviously, you can use Logic. I that's what I would use. I would use Logic. Logic X Pro X, something like that. There's so I would mostly go through that. There's Pro Tools. There's Ableton Live, which people mostly use that for like live concerts and stuff.
Right.
There's Main Stage, which is also like same thing. I don't think you can actually record on Main Stage. I think that's more just live. But yeah, I use Logic. But there's certain like attachments or like just sound that you can get, like certain other softwares within that main software. So say like your whole production is done on Logic, like that's what I do.
Right.
But you can get other, I'm forgetting what the name of them are. I don't want to
other
keep saying
programs.
I don't want to keep saying softwares. They're like other programs, but they're I'm forgetting the name of it.
Like editing systems or what?
No, because the whole Logic is like the editing system. Like that's where you're moving everything around,
messing with the
assigning everything, stuff, adding stuff. But there's certain, I'll just say they're extensions. They're not really they're extensions, but sure, let's just call them extensions. There's for all the keyboards, a really good one is there's Omnisphere for like pads, like those like very like those immersive sounding. I mean, pads, like they're like you could think of like strings or something like that.
So just extra additives that you could add to the music to make it sound better, like weird noises that people don't really take into account in certain songs that they listen to on a daily basis that are added on there as like an additive. Kind of like throwing salt on top of food. Like you have all the ingredients.
What I'm saying is, you can have all the ingredients. Like Logic itself will give you Logic or GarageBand or whatever. It will give you ingredients. Like it has basic ingredients. Um, let's say what's something good? What's something? Think of. I'm gonna try to apply it with like food or something. Think of Logic. It gives you Daisy sour cream.
Okay.
But the good kind is Henderson, or what's it called?
Keinzer
or whatever.
Or something like that?
Yeah.
We're probably not even saying it right,
We're probably not even saying that.
so it's,
but there's
just
certain brands.
Brands
okay?
that
So
are
Logic will give you the basic brands. You can definitely make songs with it, but it's not gonna sound as great as if you were to pay a little extra for some third-party brands, and brought those into Logic and started working like that.
Right.
So Keyscape is like one of the really good ones. That's worth like $300 just for, but you get like all the keys, all the pianos, like everywhere, like the best stuff. So that's one that I'd really like to invest in the future. Omnisphere, I was telling you, like that's like about pads and stuff. For synthesizers, there's Synthland, I think it's what it's called. There's a lot of good synthesizers.
So you're saying that the reason that you're not posting this stuff or not releasing your music is because you would need, what is it called? Key?
Well, not just, okay, so yes, I would, for like when it comes to pianos, I would want Keyscape because that makes,
Keyscape.
I mean, it sounds like an actual piano. Like you could choose like there's different, like it'll say like, oh, a Steinway or I forget what it's called, but like a Yamaha grand piano.
Right.
And you play it and it's like, man, it sounds like the real thing. Yeah. Where it's like, Logic will give you something that says Yamaha grand piano, but it's not gonna sound.
It's not gonna sound exactly like it. Okay.
Like it'll sound maybe like half as good.
Gotcha.
So that's only a fraction of it. There's other things like just me learning how to produce, like me learning. Okay, like.
But wouldn't you say, kind of like how we did it with the YouTube? Our first video was just trash.
Oh yeah,
it was straight up dog water.
But see, so for example,
and we slowly build up more and more.
Right, but like for example, on the video, the video itself, you can see the video itself was low quality,
and the audio
was low quality. So what did you? You got better mics. I
didn't get better mics. It's the same ones.
Okay, how did the quality of the audio get better? You got a better
settings. The settings.
Okay,
I started
you fixed
messing.
The settings. You started.
I messed with it a little bit more.
Started learning how to produce it.
So it wasn't really the equipment; it was knowing of the equipment, and also.
But also, I mean, you spent more money on the production of it, which is like
production, but that's just like the visual, like the room,
well,
the backgrounds, but everything else, as far as camera. Still the same camera as episode 1. Still the same equipment with the exception of today with these mics as episode 1. It was just more learning how to use it and how to.
That's another big fraction or part of what I want to learn is I want to learn how to do it better.
But what if you could do great things with just Logic's?
You can. Program? Oh, yeah, you absolutely can. Like if you give like a professional studio artist just Logic and a laptop, they can create songs and stuff like amazing stuff.
Right.
But it's about it's obviously like you really have to like with certain pianos and I'm just going based off pianos, but like say you want to use a certain piano, most of the pianos there are kind of trash, so you really have to tweak them like a lot to make them sound good.
But doesn't that make you a better producer if you do? If you mess with if you learned to work with the cheaper stuff later on in life, once you get the better stuff that's $300 or whatever for the Keyscape, you'll be able to do even better job than if you had that from the get-go.
Yeah, and I think over the years that's what I've done. Like I've utilized the basics, and I've been able to create songs. Like I went from GarageBand trying to make songs, and I made some songs there. But then as soon as I got to Logic and I started making, like, you have much more, like, it's much more limited.
Right.
Like, you have a lot more functionalities, a lot more uses to certain things that you didn't have before with just GarageBand. And a lot of the sounds themselves just sound way better than before. So there's a lot more functionality and a lot more intuitive that you can, use with that.
But why not post it so other people can hear it?
Again, it's mostly it's not. How do I put it? It's not a thing. It's not something that it's like I don't want to post it. I'd love to post it. I would love to. I like when I like having people listen to my music, but I would
Why don't
rather
you let me post it?
I would rather like I don't
As a sample.
You've done projects before. You've made projects before.
Mm.
Do you ever like putting out a project that you haven't finished, or that you don't feel it could be technically the best to your ability? I'm not saying perfect.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. But if you don't feel like you put your 100% in there, are you comfortable putting it out there?
But you've made multiple songs that I would consider complete.
You would consider, but I wouldn't consider it. I know what I.
So you would still go back in and edit those songs?
Absolutely, yeah. There are certain songs that I like. They might sound like they're finished, but I would just want to re-record it, like re-record the whole thing with like better pianos, better.
I think
There's a lot of songs.
the reason I'm saying this is because, perfect example, could we go back and do episode 1 again? Yes, we can. We have the same people, we have the same equipment, we could do it. But
the thing with that is you literally have to create a whole new conversation.
Yes, but think about it like this. The reason I left it the way it is because the conversation was trash too.
Oh, yeah.
We were all over the place.
Yeah.
There was no order. There was no. Even now, we're not like the best, but slowly we're getting better at keeping on track on what we're talking about. But that first episode, other than the audio that we could fix and the visual look of the video that we can fix,
Mm-hmm.
the majority of it, you can compare it to a more recent video, and that's where you can see, oh, the artist got better at his craft.
Right.
And that's what I like to see. I'd like to be able to see, okay, I saw or I listened to one of Danny's songs early on, and yeah, it wasn't the best. It was good, but it got better because of the fact that he worked harder on it.
Yeah.
And he slowly built his craft. He started using the new program. He started mastering Logic's program, and he started becoming better and better at it. Mm-hmm. Do you want to pull up because I want to make sure we're going on the right way.
I don't even know where my phone went, dude. Oh, I found it.
I think we need to take this freeway.
Pretty sure we're going on the 405.
Yeah. Sorry, we're running into a little bit of traffic, but nothing too crazy. But we need to make sure we're going
Tijuana, Baja California.
We're going to Tijuana.
We are 2 hours and 53 minutes out.
That's actually not that bad.
No, not at all.
We just need
Yeah, so you'll stay in the right 2 lanes.
So you need to jump over one more.
Yeah, jump over this one. But yeah, look, my main thing is I don't want to put something out until I feel comfortable putting it out.
Do you think you'll ever feel comfortable?
Absolutely, yeah.
How long? Because the fans want to listen.
The fans are barely finding out about this.
The fans know about this because
Bromigos barely finding out.
The Bromigos know that you sing.
Yeah, I'm alright. Look, I think even if you ask any artist, I don't know. Does that car say it's $5,000?
Yeah, $5,000.
Dude, that thing's like trash.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have seen it. It was like, it looks like it doesn't even have an engine.
There's a car getting towed.
It was like I think it must have been a pony car, a Mustang. But it was like a 19.
I mean, you know what? If it was really like shiny and stuff, like because I mean that Ford model Mustang itself looked pretty nice.
It looked nice, but it's like if it was rebuilt. But
yeah, if it was rebuilt.
I mean, okay, think about it like that. If they rebuilt that car, comparing it to this, if the way that car looks right now is
Yeah.
your current songs.
Trash.
No, I consider that
I
$5,000.
call that trash.
I consider your song a $5,000 car.
Okay.
But imagine if like a couple of years from now, after you posted it, and people see, wow, look at the transformation from this car to the restoration,
From trash to less trash.
from trash to like a $20,000 car instead of a $5,000 car.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like I think even with
There's a story to it. There's a
there
story,
is a story to it.
That's why I don't think I would
But-
ever delete any of the content that we've created, because it shows our story of how we got better.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of like YouTubers out there that they'll post all their stuff, but later on in life, once they're like, okay, this video was like just trash,
Yeah.
didn't look good, video quality, like I got a couple 100 views or whatever, delete it. They delete it, and it's like now that is completely gone forever.
See, but like there are certain, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like nitpicking, like I want to do, like, and the thing is, like, if it was just one song that I could just work on and just, I mean, maybe that's all I gotta do. Like, I just gotta go back to one song.
How about you pick
Focus
one
on one,
song,
You know,
you make it about whatever you want to make it about, and you let me post it, and then we'll have the Bromigos critique it, or not critique it, but you'll see how the Bromigos will enjoy the song as well.
I mean, I'll try. I'll try to make it. You know.
Promise the fans. The fans want to see it.
I mean, they gotta give me names. You know, give me
Names?
yeah, like, you know, name a song. Also, like, what I've been trying to do is
I
I've been
sent you
trying
a couple songs.
What?
I sent you a couple songs that you can make.
What do you mean?
Like the one about James.
Oh my god. Okay, this guy. How about you tell them that?
Okay.
Tell them what you
So there's this new thing
There's
that
a
just
lot of
popped up.
traffic, by the way.
There is a lot of traffic. There's this new thing that popped up that a lot of people on the internet, you guys might have heard of it. It's recently came out. It's called Chat GPT 3. It's a AI system that pretty much you could pretty much ask it anything, any question, and it'll answer it. It's like Google, but if Google was 10 times better. But it can also create things for you because it's that smart. So I asked it to create a song, and I gave it specific details like make a country song about Danny and Alex and how their friendship grew to become this 10-year-long memorable euphoria. And it'll literally...
Do you know what euphoria means?
No.
So that's what we're doing now.
But it's
That's what we're doing. We're just using words we don't know.
I got it from Chat GPT. But yeah, it created like, was it the core?
Yeah, you created the whole thing.
It created the
verses,
the chorus,
the bridge.
the bridge. It created
chorus,
everything.
all that stuff, yeah.
I didn't know how to do that, obviously,
Right.
but
yeah, no, I
system
realized
did.
that, like, when you sent the first one, I was just like, okay, maybe Kaz helped him out with this one. That was my first thought. I was like, maybe Kaz helped him out with this one.
Did it sound okay? Did it sound?
I didn't know what the melody was. Like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, I didn't even really try to like sing it. I just saw like you had a verse, you had a chorus, you had, all this stuff. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe Kaz, Kaz sings also. So she may
help them do it.
But then I saw you send the other one. I was like, nah, this is too fast. Like, there's no way he came up with two songs like that. Like, this was way too, like.
I literally just texted him in the middle of the night, and I
Yeah.
just sent him like a song, and I was like, "You
Yeah.
should sing this."
So I ended up texting him back. Like, I ended up saying back, like, dude, you used the software. Because there was also like
Little mistakes, huh?
not just that, but there was like specific like tenured. Like, you would never use tenured in a song like that you would make. Like, you try to rhyme it with something,
Oh, okay.
Like, so it just seemed like it really did seem like you just gave the computer something like words to plug in, and it just plugged it in.
Now think about it like this: imagine how much better will this program be, ChatGPT, in like 4 or 5 years.
ChatGPT?
That's the name of it,
Chat.
ChatGPT. It's an AI system. So I have the app version, and I downloaded it, and I paid for it, and pretty much I use it for creating content as well. So whenever I need to like create any interview questions, that I'm like, okay, it has to be specific to Danny, and I'll give a couple details, and then it'll give me good ideas. Sometimes the ideas are like off because kind of like the song, there was a lot of mistakes in it. Same thing with the questions. It'll ask like, how long have you been doing this? And it's like, well, that's not really a really good question. It's like everyone knows how long we've been on YouTube or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just realized I should have brought my guitar.
You should have.
I should have brought my guitar.
You should have.
Played some tunes with the Bramigos.
Yeah.
We could have made a song in the car.
Yeah. He's made a song in the car before. Yeah.
In the car?
Actually, no, not in the car.
No,
at the house we did.
In my room, yeah.
We've made songs about random stuff. Well, mainly Danny's made songs about random stuff.
Mainly about Alex.
About Alex and his life.
His adventures.
His adventures.
But
yeah. Either way, like I was saying, the Chappie
do those
GPT,
trees ever freak you out?
The which ones?
The fake ones.
The
like
the 5G ones?
5G towers.
Yeah.
Those things freak me out sometimes.
How do they freak you out?
Because I'm looking at like a tree and I'm just like, that looks kind of off. You know, that's kind of scary.
Fake tree.
And I realized it's a fake tree. Like,
oh, like something that's not supposed to be there and it is?
Yeah. Like it's like if you see a man, or like you're walking to a store and you see a man, he's got a hoodie and you're just like, that man looks kind of weird. And then you put on your glasses and you're like, it's a mannequin. It's kind of like
I don't think anybody's going to a store and like looking at a mannequin thinking, whoa, you're not supposed to be there.
Well, dude, I've seen videos where like there's people like waiting in line and they're just standing behind the mannequins like they're just waiting.
Thinking they're in line?
Yeah, but it's like, no, I don't know. It's, you know, when they
try
to mix technology with nature, and like, you know,
the real question is, why did they even have to do that? Why not just have a big old piece of metal?
It's just, I guess,
like, is it supposed to look good?
It's supposed to not. It's not supposed to be an eyesore. Is what it is.
What does it matter? It's a tower. It's like a light post.
But think about how many people. Yeah, I guess. It's
like, let's make sure the light post looks good on the freeway.
It's a blend, but it's like, look, you can see another one over there.
I see it.
Spot it though. See, I don't.
Yeah, I couldn't spot it.
What it is like,
okay.
Look, there's another one right here.
How bad would it have been if it was just a piece of metal sticking out like a?
It wouldn't be bad.
It wouldn't.
This is just California's way of trying to make it.
Honestly, guys, if you guys could see this, you cannot tell that that's there.
That one for sure.
That one looks.
Tell this one. There's one right here.
Oh, what the heck! I didn't even see that one. Okay,
right?
That one's fake though.
Oh,
that one looks so bad.
Fake. They're both
That's
fake.
like a palm tree one.
They're both fake.
That one I'm talking about. That one's hidden.
Yeah, that one's hidden.
That one's like up in the mountains.
Yeah.
You can't even see that.
Yeah, there's a, you know.
Yeah, 5G. I don't trust it.
5G.
I don't trust anything that needs to be hidden that well.
Yeah, hot take. 5G. Cannot be trusted.
Cannot be trusted.
Those new iPhones you got, throw them away.
Did you hear?
Go back generation.
Did you hear that there was
4G.
like these locations, like these small towns, that they were saying like, oh yeah, everyone's getting sick because of 5G.
I heard about that.
And there was like radiation going around, and we weren't getting sick before, and then now we're all getting sick, and then there's like petitions, and then there's people that are throwing like,
but see, like that
Mazel Tovs, the cocktail Mazel Tov things
at the
5G towers to burn them down.
But see, like that's also like, I don't know if I could trust it, because it's like that was also kind of happening around COVID. It's like you were getting sick just from COVID, probably. Like,
yeah,
you know. But I don't know. I try not to pay attention to those type of politics and stuff, you know. Yeah. So the world's screwed up as it is, you know, and
that's true.
It's just, you know, it's just sad. It's just sad. Nah,
what's that? Yeah. No, you wouldn't even care.
Oh, cop. Oh, sheriff.
Oh yeah,
that's Tim.
That's
Sheriff,
future Tim.
Sheriff Woody right there. Sheriff Woody. Wait, you know what's crazy?
What?
I bet it's probably just one person in that car.
Yeah.
And no, but here's the thing. That's.
Oh yeah, they're in the carpool.
They're in the carpool lane. Can you do a citizen's arrest?
Well, it'd be kind of hard. You could do it, but it'd be kind of hard to pull over a cop. You'd have to flag him down.
To try it.
I'm not gonna try it. We're not gonna try it.
No, I'm not saying now. I mean, we got a mission to do.
We got a mission.
But
our one and only objective is to go pick up Alex.
One day when I'm not, busy, one day when we're just, just driving
You're not busy.
on the road again, just driving.
Just pull over a car.
Just pull over a car.
Sir,
and say,
do you know how fast you were going?
Yeah.
Oh, tell him about your ticket.
Guys, I got a speeding ticket.
He got a speeding ticket.
Got a speeding ticket.
Tell him how fast you were going.
I was going 82 miles an hour.
At a 25-hour.
No. I was on the freeway.
Mile per hour zone.
I was on the freeway. I thought it was 70 miles an hour with the speed limit. So, I was going, 12 over technically.
Yeah. There's another. That's CHP actually.
That's CHP.
Yeah.
He's a little big to be on the bike. I'm just saying.
That's messed up.
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, he looks bigger than the bike.
Look, he's trying to swerve through.
Yeah.
He's having trouble.
We're
not trying to be mean. We're just pointing out something obvious.
We're not being mean.
We're fat too.
It's like if we were on that bike. But
I'd be bigger.
I'd
probably be bigger than
I
that.
think that guy looked bigger.
Well, he's also wearing a vest, like a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Now imagine me with a bulletproof vest. I would look better than him.
I guess.
I've ridden motorcycles before.
I'm not really good with proportions, like proportions.
How do you know? It's not that hard.
I'm not good. I've never been
Think
good
a
with
little
proportions.
bit bigger.
No, but I've never been good with like you.
Okay.
You ever
when
go
someone
to a
tells
basketball
you,
game? I've actually never been a basketball game.
I've never been either.
Soccer. I've never been to a soccer game either.
I haven't either.
Okay, but like athletes in general, like sometimes they look tiny on a court or like on something. Like
well, you do know that like soccer fields
tall.
and basketball fields are entirely different than football
right,
fields.
But here's the thing: a lot of soccer players are actually really tall.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
And they don't look like it because it's such a big field, but proportions. That's the thing, proportions. Just never been good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
As you can see, I've never been good with proportioning. But,
this is good enough.
What's this guy drawing?
There's a guy on a plane that's just like I don't know.
That's a heart. He's trying to make art. No,
maybe.
I think it's just Gary.
It looks like the McDonald's sign.
It does. It does look
like a giant M arch.
I think he's gonna try to connect the heart. I think that's what he's
doing. Maybe he's just doing aerial practice.
I think but I think he's trying to write something, but I don't know. I can't read it.
All right, how about you tell him about your career in X-ray technician and how first off, how did you even hear about it? And actually, before that, what were you thinking of doing before you even heard of it, like career-wise?
All right. Well, first things first. I think the main people I gotta how do I put it?
Shout out.
I guess shout out, but also give thanks. I gotta thank the union for taking so long and not calling me back.
Tell them what the union is, because they probably are like, what union? Union what?
Local 484. Shout out to Local 484.
The plumbers union.
The plumbers union.
United Association.
The
plumbers and pipe fitters.
Plumbers and pipe fitters brotherhood. Hoorah!
Hoorah!
So Joel and I actually, we both applied to the union at the same time.
Early on.
Really early on.
We both had I was working as a maintenance tech. You were what?
No, you were a supervisor. You made a supervisor.
No, not yet. When we applied, no.
Oh yeah.
I was a maintenance technician at an apartment property, and Danny was. Sorry.
What was I working in?
I don't know. What were you doing?
Maybe property management. No.
Property management.
Was it? I wasn't at the corporate office yet, so I think it was property management.
Woodside Village. That's where we lived in.
Property management.
Property management. Okay.
Yeah, I was a manager. Yeah, I was property manager. And
so we both tried to get into the plumbers union because we heard a lot of great things from people that we knew that were in the union,
family,
friends that were in the union that wanted us to get into the union as well because it was just a good career path.
Yeah.
And from there, we what we ended up doing was we went to the hall, talked to the administrative
the hall
lady.
Is like the main
it's their office, their main office. They call it a hall just because there's a lot of... Yeah, it's not really a hall. But that's where they have the union meetings. That's where they have...
it's kind of like City Hall. I guess that's what it's for.
I guess you could say.
There's City Hall.
It's small, though.
There's no small hall. Building. I've never seen a hall there.
Well, there's hallways.
I didn't see it.
Well, regardless. So we pretty much went in there, talked to the lady. They're like, okay, yeah, you're interested in joining the union. Go ahead and give us your information, and we are gonna schedule you for a test. So we're thinking like, okay, there's probably like hundreds of people that try to get into the union every single year because this thing is like a giant organization.
Yeah.
They're technically, I think, even in Canada, United States and in Canada. So
Yeah.
there's multiple halls in different areas. There's one in LA, there's one in Ventura, there's one in Santa Barbara,
Different
actually not
states,
Santa Barbara, like
different,
Yuleton, there's different states,
Yeah.
and so on, going all the way through. So we get scheduled to go in for a test, math test, about 20 questions or 50 questions. Or was it more? I can't remember.
No, it was probably like 25 questions.
25 to 30.
questions.
I'm not sure exactly.
They were different. They were all math questions.
Right.
Do we have any written one? Do we have an English one?
There were verbal math questions, like
No. I know we had a math one, but did we have like an English one or a written one?
no English one. It was just
a math one.
Yeah, that was it.
Anyways, yeah. So we ended up having that
Keep going
math
straight?
one. Oh, you were supposed to turn left like 5 miles ago.
Oh man,
I'm just kidding. So yeah, turn or keep going straight for 44 miles.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing on, we went in to take our math test, and it was kind of surprising because we went in thinking like, oh, there's going to be like 50 of us. It was us, just us two, at the same hall.
Yep.
And we ended up taking our tests.
You know,
Danny obviously is 10 times better at math than me.
well, hold on. Here's the thing first, okay? Because we had to take the test twice. I don't know if you're
Oh, yeah.
So the first time we go in.
Oh yeah, the first time that we go in, and yeah.
Me, I've always been really comfortable with math. I've always been really good at math. I remember in college, you know, me, him, and my sister Sarah, you know, we all took a math class. I was like tutoring them. Like I was really like, it's always been very fluid for me. So I go in, you know, we go in there, we get the test, and I'm thinking like I'm really just taking my time on them because I just want to get every single question right. And you know, I get to maybe like 11. Oh man, what?
This I'm trying to speed up so I can get past this.
There's like a construction little
that's dropping off.
That's like the manure. No, not the manure.
Concrete.
Concrete, but it's like there's concrete, but like what's concrete?
Cement.
Cement. I guess cement. It's like one of those cement. You guys ever seen those big trucks that like they rotate around, like you could drop cement. One of those, but it was dropping like dirt.
Little rocks.
Little rocks and stuff. But anyways, I've always been really good at math. So I was really just trying to get every single question right. I think I got to like, I was probably halfway done or maybe a little bit more. So maybe I was like at 15 questions, like I had just finished showing all my work and everything. And the lady comes by and she's like, all right, time's up. And we're like, time's up? Like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah. You guys only had like, what was it, like an hour or something like that?
It was something like that.
And we're like, well, we didn't know it was time. Like, you guys never told us.
Yeah. Okay, so she gave us this thing, and actually, I think it was even less time than what officially was supposed to be. Yeah. Because the second time we took it, we had even more time.
Right.
So, because we just went to the office, talked to the lady. She's like, okay, perfect. Here you go. Take the test and bring it back, and I'll come to you guys right now. So we're like, okay, cool. Like, we get to take the test right here and right now. I suck at math. I instantly failed because I wasn't prepared. I was like, I haven't done math since like high school, and it's been like a couple years since I've even like jumped into this. So
I got all my questions right.
He got half of his test right because
I only did have my test.
He only did have the test. So,
but all of them were right.
Remember, we didn't know that it was timed. We didn't know that we were just going to take a test right then and there. We didn't even know how much of a grade we needed to get to pass.
Yeah.
We didn't have any information. It was just show up,
take a test.
They told us right then and there, take a test, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So we both failed, and we're like, okay, so we need to study. I mean, we didn't even know that we were going to be taking a test today, so when can we take it again? So they're like, okay, come back in like a week or two.
Like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Then we actually studied, came back in.
I never studied.
Danny didn't study. I studied.
I never studied for stuff.
And what ended up happening is we took the test.
I got into X-ray.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we took the test, and we both passed it. Danny got a better grade than me, and
got like 97%. Actually.
Yeah, Danny got you got like a 98. I got like an 82 or something like that. Both passing grades. We get told, okay, perfect. Now you guys have to wait a year, and we're like,
I don't know. They didn't tell us a year. They said they're gonna schedule you for the interview.
No, but then she said, like, I asked her. I was like, oh, okay. So when is? Because the next step was, you guys have to take an oral interview.
Right.
And we're like, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, we're gonna schedule you, and I'm like, okay. So when do we do the oral interview? I'm thinking like 2 weeks. And she's like, oh, okay. So the last oral interview was a week ago, and I'm like, okay, if it was a week ago, why didn't you just tell us to take a test earlier, and we would have taken the test and then scheduled for the oral interview? But I'm like, okay, well, regardless, whatever. And then she's like, okay, so yeah, we only do an oral interview once a year.
Yeah.
And we're like, so we already passed the date? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, there's nothing we can do.
We gotta wait a year.
Have to wait a year. So we wait a year.
Yep.
And then we call back and we're like trying to figure out, okay, it's been a year. No one's told us anything. When's the oral interview? When are we going to do this? So we call and we call and we call. We must have called how many times?
Too many.
Way too many. The lady in the office was probably pissed off.
Yeah, they probably had us on caller ID. They're like, no, they're not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. It took way too long, and yeah, I mean, a year later, we get that oral interview.
We finally get it. We finally go in, and then they tell us pretty much it could take up to a year after the oral interview.
Yeah.
So we wait.
And I feel like I had a good oral interview.
I had a pretty good one too.
Aside from probably not, I mean, obviously I didn't have as much experience as Joel, but aside from everything else, like I answered their questions very well, I think.
I think we both did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we both did.
And this is a kind of difficult interview because when you go in there, you sit down and there's like 6 dinosaurs in front of you.
Right.
And by dinosaurs, I mean very old, experienced union members
journeyed out
that are all like, they're the top of the top, and they're asking you questions, and there's like 6 of them, and they're just like one after another, just practically attacking you from all angles.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I can answer that question, and then you, and then yes. So they ask you, they hound you, they get you all the information from you as far as what you know, what you're willing to do, and go from there. And then after that, we waited a year. I finally got a call because there was a job opening, and actually there was a list. You remember the list? So there's a list of people that when you get a combination of your grade on your test and your oral interview, they combine it and then they put you on the list. So the higher the number, the more likely that you're going to be the next one that they call.
Right.
So Danny was 4th, I was 7th on the list.
Yeah. I don't know.
They called me first.
Yep.
I don't know why. I'm assuming just because of my previous experience.
Yeah.
Because once I got called, I took the job instantly, and I was like, all right, you know what? I've been trying to get into the union for 2 years. I'll take the position. I don't care what it is. I'll take it. So they're like, okay, you're gonna go here. You're gonna interview with this company. You're gonna be in the union. And I was like, all right, cool. About 4 to 6 months later, they ended up calling you.
No,
wasn't it 4 to 6 months later? After I got hired. The union, I think the union called you.
I feel like it was another year later.
It was like, it can't be like a total of a year. I think it was less because I remember I still hadn't even done completed my first year with the union
when they called me. I mean, I guess, yeah. when they called me, what was it?
You were
it
at
had to be a whole year later. No,
you were at
I
the.
was at the corporate office. I was working at the corporate office, but I was
Oh,
already
okay.
I was already getting into X-ray. Like I was already about to like I had already done like the what's it called orientation.
Orientation. Okay.
The radiology.
So let's go right before that then. Before they called you, how did you even hear about X-ray technician?
So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it just popped up somehow in my like YouTube or something. I really don't know. Just one day I see it. I don't know if it was social media or what, but I just saw it and I was like, huh, you know. See it a couple more times in my feed. And I'm like, all right, let's just check this out. And so maybe for about like a couple months, maybe even like a year. I don't know how long exactly it was, but it was like probably around like we'll say at least 6 months.
6 months.
I just kept seeing, I kept kind of looking more into it, like looking, all right, like, what's the pay grade, what's the, what are the, like, how can you advance? Is it just X-ray? Is it, what else can you do? Now, the more I was looking into it, the more interested I was in it, and I just became fascinated with it. Like, I wanted to learn more about it, I wanted to understand what it was, why it's something that's like still gonna like we're still gonna need it in the future, and why there's different types of radiologies and how you can transfer to different types. And
so it wasn't like one specific thing. It was just like here and there, it kept popping up,
yeah,
and then it caught your eye, like
caught my eye,
X-ray
and,
technician, X-ray technician.
And eventually,
how did you hear about the school?
The school, I think that it kind of popped up, and like I looked through it, and as soon as I think like I looked through it, something about I think my cookies or something. I don't know how cookies work. Okay, I don't know. You know how you guys
the
say
cookies
like
on your phone
cookies?
or something like that. Yeah.
If you ever accept the cookies, I don't know what the cookies do. I'm good with technology, but I don't know what. I've never known what cookies do. But I feel like they stole my cookies, and they
I don't think that's how it works, but
they must have eaten my cookies or something.
Your cookies.
And they pretty much, they contacted me, and they're like, hey, we saw that you were on our website. Would you like a little more information? Would you like a tutorial or like just a walkthrough of the campus? Like we just want to show you. And I was like, yeah, you know what, like. I'm at a job that, I feel at the time, like I wasn't in property management anymore. I was in a corporate office at, should I name drop?
Oh, you can name drop.
I was at a corporate office in Harbor Freight.
It's a big company.
Yeah, it's a family. It's a
family-owned company. Yeah.
But yeah, it's grown over the years. But yeah. A lot of
you had told me that you really liked it there, but
I really liked it there.
You plateaued, like that's as high as you could probably move up.
No. Oh no. The thing about that place is, it's if you want to stay there, you can stay there. Like you will grow there.
Oh really?
Yeah. You will definitely grow there. They definitely hire from the inside.
Oh okay.
Yeah. So
it's a good company to go through.
Like my managers, they were working there. They were working in my position before.
Oh okay.
So and then everyone, when I was in, so that was like, was product support.
Uh-huh.
Like, they were in that position. Because they also had me in different positions. Because like when I first started there, I was kind of like a temp, technically.
Uh-huh.
But then they ended up like hiring me out, and like it was like I ended up being like, so because I worked in like product support, I worked in customer service, I worked in.
So they pulled you in different directions. And different departments.
It was just, the thing was, out of like 50 candidates, out of the 50 temps, like there was probably like 25 in customer service, 25 in product support, or maybe it was very well split. But I was the only one. Apparently, like they really liked me because I was the only one that did. I did customer service. I did product support. I did. I'm trying to think of what else. There was purchasing. I did. I did.
I think something about returns, right?
Yeah. I did pumps and sprays. I did a bunch of different, like, they also had me in.
So you were very versatile when it
I
came
was
to
very
it,
versatile
and that's why
in
they
that
liked you.
company. And
Because they're like,
they
we
really
can
liked
send
me.
Danny wherever we need him.
Yeah, like they saw that I learned really quick, and there was like, I would make things like I'm telling you, like I was just very like I tried to be like very like I'm not gonna say I'm a hard worker. Well, I am a hard worker first and foremost, but I feel like there's times where like you can also be a smart worker and not have to work as hard.
Right.
And that's what like I would always try to work hard in trying to find ways to work smarter, not harder. So like certain things like emails, when they had me in emails for like the first, I want to say the first 2-3 weeks, um, everybody had to type out their emails and everything, blah blah blah. You know, you have to. I started creating templates. So
Oh, okay. So it's
whenever
easy.
somebody, yeah, because a lot of the stuff was like the same thing. Like, hey, I ordered this. I didn't. Oh, that was another thing. I did online orders as well. But like, hey, I ordered this, and this didn't come in. You know, like, can I get a refund or blah blah blah. You know, so a lot of the things were like all the same. Like, oh, this person didn't get this. I had a template already set up. All I had to do was just plug in a couple things and boom, send it. And
Okay.
that's already done. One done. So in the amount of like and the amount of time it would take to type up one for some person, I would already go through like 5, 6, 7, 10 emails even. Like,
So you were faster because you were smarter with certain things,
Yeah.
as far as like creating templates, so that you could respond faster,
Yeah.
so that more emails could be sent out versus other people were still struggling typing out one.
Yeah. And it wasn't so much that they were struggling, but it was just the fact that I had created, like, I had put so much time into like 1-2 days, maybe just 1 week of just creating templates, that by the next couple weeks, like, it was just, oh, I see this, okay, template, boom, maybe add a couple stuff, like, you know, a couple key details, but other than that, like, they were all the same. So, you know, they liked that from me. They liked that when it came to phone calls, like, when it came to phone calls and people would come complaining and stuff, I'd be able to like calm them down, or like I'd be able to, like, I don't know, I was always just able to, I wouldn't get frustrated or say like, oh man, like, I'm so sorry, like, let me talk to you, let me have you. I was like one of the few that would ever transfer to a manager, because I was just always able to take care of it.
Right.
So yeah, that was one of the things for me. And what's it called? I don't know. They really liked me there, and I could, if I really wanted to, I feel like I could have. I could have probably stayed there. I could have definitely, because when I was I'm trying to think which department it was, but like I said, like, I was the only one that was in a separate department than everybody else, because everybody else was either in customer service or product support. But when I was doing online orders, I was in a different room with like people that were there for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And every single person, like every single coworker next to me, like, I would ask them, like, oh, how long have you been here? And they're like, oh, I've been here for 10 years. Oh, I've been here for 17 years. Oh, I've been here for 23 years. Like, and I'm just like, man, like, and they're like, yeah, I used to know the owners, or blah blah. Like, they would say, like, like, they loved it, like, But the only reason I didn't stay there was, one, towards the end, it started feeling more like a
job,
well,
instead of career.
Well, yeah, that too. But it also started feeling just like how I don't know if you've never worked in an office really job, have you?
Kinda,
It
but
just started feeling really corporate like.
Okay, so like cubicles, like you're in your little box.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
not
I guess.
really.
Like, it just felt like it didn't. It started feeling less and less like there was something for me in the end. It started just feeling like a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Because in the very beginning, like I said, they loved me and everything.
But you were kind of going through the motions.
Overtime, I remember I'd be going in at 5 a.m. and getting out like at 4 p.m. And like I liked it because it's like they were giving me a lot of hours. The pay was really good too, and that was even the pay when I was just getting paid as a temp at first. It was good.
It was good pay.
And then when they hired me on, even better. Even better.
And with the overtime and everything, and the benefits
and overtime. But see, the like towards the end, they started becoming a little more corporate. Like before, they would give you overtime. Like it was almost like voluntarily. Like they're like, oh, if you're working like extra, like yeah, we'll pay you. You know, like you're working extra.
Okay.
Towards the end, it was like, no, like you gotta leave. You gotta leave on time. Like, we're not gonna pay you extra. You know, so they started getting really, they started getting really like
strict on you, or like micromanaging almost.
Yeah, it really felt like micromanaging. We started to have a script. Before we didn't have scripts. We didn't have, when it came to like product support or customer service, we didn't have scripts. But
then they started giving you. So a lot of the stuff started changing.
It started feeling more like, and it was a little bit. It was a call center.
But it felt more like a call center because of the scripts and everything?
Yeah, it started feeling just like basic. Like, and I was just like, no, like I could grow here if I really wanted to. I feel like that, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. But I love the company. That company was a really good. It is a really good company. It's crazy because like I remember through COVID, like you would see like obviously there was a bunch of businesses that were like failing through COVID. Mm-hmm. That one, like they would show us the charts and stuff, and they're like, if you see like even through COVID, we're still at a steady incline. Like so, they were still doing really good through COVID. People were still buying
stuff and everything.
You know,
stores were still open.
So yeah, all through COVID, I worked through there. You know, I was an essential worker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that job. But yeah, eventually, that happened.
You kind of realized this is not for me.
Yeah, I kind of realized, like I don't really want to be here. Like, it would be nice. It would be nice. It'd be a cozy. Like I could definitely make that my career if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I just didn't see myself, tagging along. So,
but when you did the walkthrough at the campus,
yeah,
for the
after I did the walkthrough, I was like, all right, yeah, I think I kind of want to do this. Like, I started getting inspired, and I started getting like, man, like
there's a purpose behind
there
this.
There was for a long time I was actually missing school. Like I was missing like the school environment, like going to class.
Because you went to college,
I went
junior
to college. Yeah, like one thing, like when I was
did you officially drop out though? I wasn't sure if you did or not.
What do you mean?
Out of college.
What do you mean?
You didn't get your associates.
No, I didn't get my associates.
So you dropped out.
Do you have to go to the office to do that, or
no? You just stopped going.
Yeah, I pretty much just stopped going.
So you dropped out of college.
I guess, yeah.
Because that's what I did too. I dropped out of college.
Well, yeah, but I just feel like when you say dropped out of college, it's like you're putting that like seal, like I'm never going to college again.
Oh,
I feel like
well, no,
I might take some classes.
Because some people dropped out of college early on, and then they ended up going back to like get their masters.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, well, they obviously went back to school.
So that's why I'm not saying I dropped out of college.
So you stopped going to college because there was not really a specific area that you were going to go to.
Yeah, the first, like when I was in high school, when I was a freshman in high school, even like in 8th grade, like 7th grade, I was thinking like, what am I going to do in the future? Like I got to start thinking now. Like what am I going to do? And something that I always liked was psychology. I always liked talking to people. I like trying to fix people's problems in a sense, like trying to make them feel better and everything. So I really liked psychology. And then around freshman year, sophomore year, I found out psychiatry, or a psychiatrist, it's pretty much the same thing as a psychologist, but they get paid a lot more just for prescribing medicine. Right. Now, I was never one to think like, oh, I'm just going to prescribe, medicine just to people and just like get on my way, get them coming back for the meds. No, I would always think like, okay, I'm going to try to talk them through it or whatever, like a therapist or whatever. Right. And then, if need be, prescribe medicine if need be, not be like one of those, psychiatrists that would just prescribe people just so that they can keep coming back. Right. More money. So yeah, I mean, that was always my goal. From all of high school, come college, I take my first psychology class. I don't like it. I don't like psychology, In college, you figured that out? In college, my first psychology class, I'm just like,
I don't like this.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
I don't want to.
I'm like, Sigmund Freud? Like, what? Yeah, no, psychology, it still can be interesting and stuff.
But it wasn't like, you knew right then and there, it's not for me.
Exactly. I knew right then and there. And so after that happened, I was like I didn't have a backup plan. Like I didn't really know, so I started taking other classes and stuff.
Your
But
general ed and
yeah,
whatnot.
general ed, started going through that. You know, I even took some like fun classes or electives just to try to get
Just
the
to like see if you
knowledge
could find
juice
something.
going. Yeah, try to figure something out,
But nothing.
Nothing. So I started. I ended up doing property management.
Started working instead of going to school.
You know the deal, yo.
Yeah.
I was a temp property management for like 5-6 months. Bam, became a manager.
Yeah, property manager twice.
And then then I got to Harbor Freight. Then I got to I ended up eventually having the orientation.
There.
I got really inspired. I got it was the first time I felt like motivated again. Like, man, like this is something I can do. Like this is something I envision. And even like throughout school, like I mean, from the very beginning, like I just thought like, man, okay, this is the plan. Like this is the plan going forward, and I'm still sticking to the plan. The plan is, I just didn't realize the plan was going to be so long. But
so in a weird way, you could say that what you wanted to do, which was help people in a way, back when you were in high school, and you thought psychiatry would be the direction you could go, and majoring in psychiatry.
That's still psychology.
Psychology. Majoring in psychology and doing that path, but once you got there, you realize that's not what I want to do. That's not what the same attachment of I want to help people is. And then once you got this opportunity as an X-ray technician, you still saw that I can help people here. I could see myself helping people and furthering myself, and there's a purpose there behind that position.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like I like working at an urgent care. I've been working at an urgent care, and it's so cool because it's like
you get a lot of people.
Like you get different situations. Like at an imaging center, that's all you're doing. You're just taking images of broken legs, broken arms, whatever, you name it, just broken bones. You're just taking images. At an urgent care, you're also doing medical assisting, which is you're injecting people with they need a medicine. You're say somebody needs a COVID swab, you're swabbing them. You're sending it to the labs.
So there's other stuff because I think a lot of people think of X-ray technicians. They think like, oh, they're just behind a machine all day.
Yeah.
What are the other things that you do on top of X-ray technician stuff, like actually taking an X-ray? What are some other things, like you just said?
So I mean,
COVID, you do the swabs.
Yeah. So the main thing for an X-ray technician, so what I am is a limited permit tech, or limited permit X-ray technician. So there's a couple things that I can't do that a regular radiation technician can do. So that's why radiation technicians, they work in hospitals. X-ray technicians, they really can only work in outpatient clinics like urgent cares and things like that.
But what are some of the stuff that you do other than actually X-rays?
So other than that,
like the swabbing and what else?
You kind of have to be certified for it too, which is medical assisting, which is something we can do. Some X-ray techs are certified, some aren't. Mm-hmm. But like for example, me, I'm able to
draw blood,
give injections.
Okay. So like the COVID shot you could do, or is that different?
The COVID shot, yeah, technically, yeah. The COVID shot I could do. We just don't have any at the urgent care that we have.
Right. But that is something that's a possibility that you could do.
Yeah.
Or the COVID tests. And you said drawing blood. Is there anything else that you could do that?
We do vitals. I mean, vitals is another key part.
Normally, every single time a patient goes in, they take their vitals.
There's what else do we do? I mean, that's for the most part. That's all I can think of.
For the differences between
paperwork.
Paperwork. The differences between a limited X-ray technician, that's what you're working for, versus a full-on radiation technician. What are the differences? Like, what can one do that the other can't?
Radiation technicians. I don't know because I know recently there was what I had heard is that they ended up taking off fluoroscopy, which is another form of radiation, but still in the prime form of an X-ray technician that they would do.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, there's something called fluoroscopy, which is kind of like how do I explain it? It's like radiation, but it's more for the whole body, and it's more for it's more like in time, like rather than just like you're taking an image, it's like you're taking a video. So it's like you're constantly like
so kind of like
you're pushing a pedal instead of like pushing a button. You're
like
pushing a pedal.
ultrasound.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, in a sense. But yeah, there's that. There's also a radiation technician can take an X-ray of the skull and the abdomen. The limited permanent can't take an X-ray of the skull or the abdomen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's
like broken legs,
broken legs, all the other, all that stuff. And
torsos.
then, radiation technicians are, they work in hospitals. They work in.
So like you could say the bigger stuff is where the actual radiation technicians are.
Yeah.
And then like the clinics, urgent cares, other little spots. That's where the X-ray technicians.
That's where the X-ray techs come in because they're able to do just like almost everything an X-ray a radiation technician can do, or a radiologist. What is it? Not a radiologist, but I forgot what the word was. Yeah, we'll just say radiation technician because that's what they are as well.
Right.
But yeah, they can do a limited permanent X-ray technician can do almost as much as a radiation technician. But just in the when it comes to specializing, that's when you'll use a radiation technician, especially at hospitals.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like the thing is, so after I finish with this, I want to be a radiation technician, so I need to do a little more school for that. But after that, I want to end up getting into CAT scan, MRI, even possibly. I know it might be extra school to do, go into, maybe adventure into nuclear radiation, but that's something I'd be maybe interested in. I kind of just want to get as much modalities as I can, because like it is first and foremost, it interests me. Like I'm actually genuinely interested in it, and also it's it pays a lot more.
Right. So, what is your current status right now? Like where are you at with school? Where are you at with your license? Where are you at with pretty much to that partial technician position?
With school, I am done.
You're completely done with school?
Completely done. My graduation is, what's today?
The 5th?
My graduation is...
6th.
6th?
Today's the 6th.
My graduation's in like 12 days.
Nice.
Yeah, I just need to take... I'm just waiting for my state exam to be scheduled, which... Literally, so everything's off my hands now. I'm literally just waiting.
Just waiting for your due date.
Just waiting for my due date. Right now, just kind of studying, kind of restudying. The good thing is like the way our instructor, another reason like I really liked the school was like we had a really good instructor, really an instructor that really invested into like the students. Like he was always willing to help us out in any way possible, and he always offered like services, like just to help us like do the test. And so one thing that he really like emphasized was he would make our tests and our finals really hard. So
okay, to challenge you to
challenge us
to that point.
Because he pretty much, the way he made it like kind of for us is like if we're passing these finals, his tests,
then it's going to be easier.
Yeah,
when you actually take the
actual state exam is way easier.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So that's something I really like because he would give us tests and they'd be pretty tough. Like I'm telling you, before in high school, even college before, I wouldn't study for any tests. I was always just a really good test taker. I was just never studying. I was just blessed with always just
being
able
grade.
to. Yeah, if I really needed to, like I would crash study, like not even the night before, but like
just
minutes before. Like,
read through everything and then
read through everything.
regurgitate it
Yes,
all
exactly.
on paper.
So I was always really good, and I'd be getting A's, B's, rarely ever C's. But yeah, like that was always me. But it wasn't until I got into radiology where I wanted to try to do the same thing and I couldn't. Like I tried doing the same thing and it backfired to me. So it was like, oh man. So it's like,
so you really had to study.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's so much, and it's like what I've noticed is when we had our final like sometime last. I'm trying to think when it was.
A couple weeks ago or what?
No, before externship, it was like in like December of last year. So we had like one of our it was like a midterm, I guess you could say, or like kind of like a midterm. Then we went on externship. So we were on externship for like 5-6 months, maybe 7 months.
Right.
By the time we came back, none of us were really studying like all that we did. So taking tests again to like review, it's like, man, there's so much information that you just
lost.
Yeah, because it's just like we were just doing the hands-on stuff. Like,
and the hands-on is so different than what's on paper.
Yeah, like there's just so much information that you just like a lot of like the theory stuff, or not theory, but like the technological stuff that it's just like, oh man, like it's crazy. So,
So you have your test coming up, or your state test, and that after that you get your license if you pass.
Get my license,
and then you can start applying.
Yep.
At different locations, like clinics, urgent cares,
cottage,
little cottage clinics.
Cottage is the
A1.
It's the A1. It's where you want to be. It's the best,
top place that you can get to.
It's where they pay the most money, and it's just like
better benefits and everything.
Secure, yeah. It's a really good.
So from going from a limited technician to a radio or radiation technician, what would you have to do? Like, let's say you did pass your test, or when you pass your test for your state test, and you get your job, what do you need to do to further yourself from that position to the next one?
Well, I would also want to take the NCCT test, which is like the medical assisting test, because that just sets you apart from other X-ray tests.
Oh, okay.
Because, like I said,
would you need to go to school for that too?
No, we already did the school.
Okay, so you're just taking a test.
It's included. It's included and it's optional. But if it's optional, like I might as well take advantage of it. Yeah. It's gonna send me
another notch on your belt.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm definitely gonna do that. And I think there's something like it's a really high. That one's supposed to be really easy. I would definitely study for that. I'm definitely studying for a both test, like I said. But that one's like something like a 77% passing rate. Like 77% of.
Oh, because you already did the school for it and everything. Yeah.
No. I mean, like 77% of people who take that test pass.
Oh, okay.
So it's a really high percentage. So it's a pretty easy test.
Right.
Is what it seems like. It almost seems like it's common sense, like a driver's test.
Oh, okay. So then there's not really. You already did the school for it.
Yeah.
It's just about filing the paperwork and scheduling the date to take it. Is that through the state as well?
That's through the state as well.
Okay. So if you do take those tests, both of those, and pass, then you can go and try to. Would you need to go to school to become a radiation technician?
Yeah, it's a little more school.
Oh, okay.
With that one you could do online. I don't know how I would do it yet. I would think, maybe I could do it online. I don't know if it's harder. Maybe it's easier to go like through school. But also, like, for example, with my school, it was a little more advanced as well. So it's like it was supposed to be less time.
Yeah, because everything was like crash course.
Everything was just like it was just a lot of information we had to like just our medical assisting, just our like MA and all that was just 8 weeks. So I remember like the first 8 weeks, from like the first day or like maybe the 1 week after or something like that. The first week I'd be coming home with like, because we would practice injections and drawing blood with each other. So it's like I'd have like an injection here, or I'd have like drawing blood here. So I'd have a band-aid for that. I'd have an injection in this arm, and it's like I'd be coming home getting poked like every single day for 8 weeks. because they really wanted us to get it done. And now, I mean, I feel comfortable with pretty much any like body habitus. Like, even if I can't see the vein, I've gotten comfortable to the point where it's like, okay, I can feel it. Like,
As long
okay,
as you
I
can feel it, yeah.
I know where it's at.
You know where it's at. Because you
Yeah.
did it so
I've
much
done it so much. And
repetitively.
there's so many ways to like, there's so many ways to like find the veins. And, so many different techniques that like I've learned over the time
Right.
of just like how to find the vein and how to get how to get blood.
Yeah. To give them, the Bromigos, an idea, how many people started in your class and how many people are potentially going to graduate?
There were 10 started.
10 started?
10 of them started, and only 6 are graduating. Maybe. Yeah, there's some that are kind of slacking behind a little bit.
That's kind of crazy, though. If you think about it, it's 6 out of 10 people make the X-ray technician position at the end.
Yeah, what's crazy is like, so like I said, ours was supposed to be 11 months, 12 months at max, but because of it was still during kind of COVID time, it was a lot of procedures were not coming in for a lot of us. I, for example, had the flu. No, I had COVID myself, so 2 weeks I wasn't able to go to work, or I wasn't able to go to my externship.
Then you had influenza,
and then I had the flu. Yeah, then I had the flu, so I wasn't able to go for another week or 2 weeks, maybe. I think it was just a week, maybe 2 weeks. So just that alone
took some time off.
That's already a month out of externship that I didn't have. Like, that's already a month wasted. So, along of the fact that a lot of procedures weren't coming in, they didn't end up extending my externship, or, it made me stay in sites a lot longer. So, yeah, there was really only one of our students that it took him like 5 months, which was still technically even longer than it's supposed to be for externship. But the rest of us was like 7-8 months, something like that. 9 months, I think, for some of us too. It was a lot. So
it just kind of depended on what clinic you went to, what procedures you did.
And what's crazy is because I didn't even get to go up to externship my first week because I got COVID. So the very first week I was about to go, I remember because it was the very last day. We were doing our CPR training, and I was coughing and stuff, and like sneezing, and like I started having like really like a frog voice.
This was with COVID or with the influenza?
This was with COVID. The very first week, like about to go on externship, like everybody was like asking me like, "Are you good, dude? Like you sound like you have COVID, dude." And I'm like, nah, I've had COVID before. Like this can't be it, bro. Yeah. I've had COVID twice already. This can't be it. Like, trust me.
So this was your 3rd time off.
So now I've had a total of I lost count, honestly. It might be 4 or 5 times that I've had COVID. One of them, the first time I don't remember. The first 2 times they were like before I even got into like radiology or whatever. The 3rd time was that time that I got COVID right before externship, and then I had it another time, maybe like months later, like a couple months later. But that one, I remember I got it from like a site too. Like I was working at a site and somebody had COVID, and I just got exposed to it. So
COVID kind of made you kind of backtrack a little bit,
yeah,
but still somewhat on track compared to like everybody else. And then that guy got lucky and he did it in 5 months, but on average, pre-COVID, it would have taken someone maybe 4 months, 3 months.
Yeah, 4 months.
To really
4 months, even 2 months
to finish.
Like there was the class before me. Apparently, they had gotten it done. The class before COVID, actually, there was a student that got it done in 2 months.
Really?
Yeah. And so what's crazy is, again, in the class, my instructor, he's always really liked me. I would always kind of mess around with him and stuff, but me and him would always get along pretty well. But he liked me. He felt really like confident in me. Like he would tell me like, you're gonna be a good tech. You're gonna be a good tech one day." I was like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." And so before I got COVID, I was assigned to go to West Hollywood, which is supposed to be like a super busy, super bougie, I guess, like imaging center. And there, you're supposed to get like all your stuff quick. But because I got sick, I didn't get to go with them, so they started moving people over. So everybody had to switch sites.
Okay.
So that messed me up, and it kind of messed some other people up too. Kind of not really, but it made everybody switch to a different site when that happened to me. So the only one that got it done in 5 months, he went to West Hollywood, and he stayed there. He didn't go to any of the sites.
So he was able to get everything
that he get everything there. Yeah, because everything was just coming in quick. When he sent me out after 2 weeks of finally done having COVID, he sent me to a pediatric site. And he's like, "I need you to get back on track, so I'm gonna send you somewhere fast. Like it's supposed to be faster than West Hollywood." And I was like, "Oh shoot!" He's like, "You're gonna be dealing with pediatrics," which for those of you that don't know, pediatrics are like children pretty much.
Right,
so,
little kids that are
little
park,
kids,
they fall off the swing.
A lot of broken forearms
And whatnot.
That was one of the big things I always get for like young ladies. It's more common in ladies, scoliosis. I had to get a lot of those procedures. I got a ton of procedures. Pretty much, I finished my upper extremities and my lower extremities, and those two are probably supposed to take some of the longest, maybe. Those they probably take like I want to say like a month, like 2 months. For those two to be finished, it takes about 2 months. I finished those in about 2 weeks.
Nice.
In the spot that I was.
So you did it pretty fast.
So yeah, if I would have stayed in that spot alone, I could have got my spine, because we did a lot of spine there too. I could have got my spine. Well, I did get my extremities, both upper and lower extremities. The only thing that never came in were like chest X-rays, which I needed to go to another site to get. Hence, that's why I ended up going to urgent care.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was the only site that was like fast. Other than that, everything was slow. Like, it took forever to get, took forever to get like L spine.
So different parts that would be, I guess you could say, harder to get were even harder to get now more than ever because of COVID and everything.
Yeah, just a lot of procedures. They just, for some reason, weren't coming in. I mean, I'm telling you, like, we still had to log all our procedures.
Right.
So I probably had like, I want to say like 500 extremity, like, or 500 like honestly, like probably like 200 of them were probably like forearms from the pediatrics.
Really?
Like, dude, there was just so many
broken bones.
Yeah. The good thing is like because I was out there for so long, like I did get a lot of experience
from it, skills.
and I got a lot of like I got really comfortable like X-raying. Like it became like second nature, and I was able to, like, the different sites that he sent me to the 5 different sites just because procedures were just not coming in for certain ones,
So it was like, let me pull you from there. Maybe you might get lucky over there.
Yeah, so he was doing that, and I got a lot of procedures. It'd be like literally everything. I mean, I've pretty much X-rayed everything now. But yeah, like it didn't matter what machine I was working with, whether it was like
because they have different machines at different locations, right?
Yeah,
some older, some
are
newer,
older, some are newer,
some different models.
Some are PSPs, some are direct. They're indirect or direct.
Do you have any like stories that were like crazy that you found out there, like some crazy thing that might have happened, or a crazy thing that you've seen during your externship, where it's like, I don't know, maybe there was a crazy broken bone that was like twisted and broken at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago actually that I saw. Because usually, like, for example, like we're not doctors, so whenever like a patient, maybe a patient's parent, like asks us like, oh, is it broken, or even the patient just asks like, oh, is this broken? Say I'm taking an X-ray of their hand, right? They're and maybe like they feel a little pin in their like finger or something, and they're asking, hey, is it broken or whatever? even if I can see it's like clearly broken, I'm not allowed to diagnose them and say like, oh yeah, you got a broken finger.
Okay.
You know, so I
That's the doctor's job.
Yeah, that's the doctor's job or the PA's job or whatever. So I have to say like, hey, like, the doctor will let you know. Like she'll or he'll let you know shortly. So because of that, like I'll go to one of the rooms with the doctor and we'll go over the image, and they'll kind of critique it. They'll say like, oh okay, let me see because I'll do different views. Say just the hand itself. Say we're focusing on a finger. Say the ring finger. I'll do an AP, which is just anatomical position. That's just straight on, just to see, you're looking at it right from the top.
Right.
We'll do an oblique, which is about a 45 degree angle, 35, 45 degree angle. And then we'll do a lateral, and we'll kind of we'll try to push the fingers away or whatever, just so you can see the lateral side of the finger to see you're pretty much trying to see every angle, or at least those three angles. And so, I'll show her or I'll show him the images, and depending on what they see, they'll end up saying like, for the most part, almost every time they've asked me, depending on some doctors, some won't, they'll just be like, oh, I see it, blah, blah. But sometimes they'll be like, I don't really see anything, do you? But recently, there was a PA, was it PA? No, it was the doctor. The doctor actually was looking at it, and they're like, I don't see anything. Like, I think they're good. And I was like, wait. Like I'm looking, I'm like, you see that right there? And there's a little hairline fracture. Yeah. And they're like, oh shoot, I do see that. And we're like going through the images, and they're like, and he'll have me because with the computer you can adjust a lot of the contrast, a lot of the
just see if there's a crack
to be able to really emphasize on and you can magnify it. There's a lot of functionalities that you can do with this. So we'll end up looking at it. We look at a different part of the image, and you can see oh yeah, it's that thing's fractured. And so I was able to catch that. That was one thing that just from the top of my head, that's one thing that I remembered. I was able to catch that before he went and to tell the patient oh no, you're good.
Yeah. So imagine that. Oh, I left there and they said I'm good, but that hairline fracture, they fall on there or something like that. Yeah. It literally just tears it open.
Well, not just that. I mean, if you don't put anything there to keep it there, it could end up worsening.
Oh yeah, it could heal itself, but in the wrong way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I actually went not so long ago, and you told me you heard about it too.
Yeah.
I got injured on the job, and I went to go get an X-ray done on my hand, and they actually did do how you said oblique, which was at a 45 degree angle, as well as what was the A something?
AP,
which is the top position, and they actually even had these little indicators that point with an arrow.
Yeah.
And it's A, B, or different little things that. But one of the things that I didn't notice was he told me don't look at it. And I was going to ask you why did he have me look away from the
so usually, I mean, they do it for that. They do it for drawing blood too. A lot of people will faint if they see it and it's broken.
I thought it was radiation gets into your eyes or something. I don't know.
Nah,
because he said don't look at it, and I was like,
yeah, okay, I guess
putting my hand.
That too. Well, wait. Oh, he was saying don't look at it while you're
yeah, because he said look away. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, so there are you have sensitive cells, your eyes being one of them, your reproductive organs being,
because he also gave me a little
shield there. Your thyroid is actually technically another one as well. So, if you want, what I would recommend next time you get an X-ray done, all radiation is harmful. Doesn't matter what amount. Whether it's little, obviously X-rays, it's not as much to really show something crazy, but nonetheless it's harmful. It's harmful radiation. You're changing the biological structure of your cells when you're getting X-ray. So what you want to do is you really would just want to get as covered, as shielded as much as possible. So the main thing you want is just for future references, always ask for. Because dude, I've gone to sites where
They don't even have one.
They don't even do like, oh my gosh, man! Like, I'm not about to burn out like certain sites or whatever, but let's just say I've gone to pediatric places.
For little kids.
Little kids, bro, they forget to
Put the little
the
mat.
shield for the reproductive organs. You know, they forget to shield them, and I'm just looking at this like, bro, like, and I would call them out like, hey, like, shield him, like, shield the guy, because I remember the first time I was just like, no way, like, he's missing something, and like, sure enough, like, after a couple times, I was just like, bro, like, shield him, like, shield the kid, like, bro, like, this kid's not gonna be able to, like, he's not gonna be able to have kids one day, bro. Like, who knows how many times he's gonna get X-ray here, you know? Like, who knows how many times he's already been X-rayed here?
Yeah, because when I went in, they gave me the mat first things first. He's like, here you go, put this on your lap. And I was like, because he had me sit down, and the X-ray was going to be on one side, but he's like, either way, put this right here, and then we're going to X-ray right in your hand. He put the indicators and everything, and he said every single time right before he started, he was like, look that way until I tell you. So I looked away, and then he did it, and he's like, he would come back and be like, okay, we're going to position in a different direction, like the 45-degree angle, the oblique angle that you said. And then he'd be like, okay, we're going to go again, look over there until I tell you not to. He would do it, and then obviously it doesn't make a noise or anything, so you don't know when to stop until he comes back and tells you. But, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. If I look at over here where the X-ray is being done, there's a possibility that my eyes...
I mean, it's scatter radiation, so it's even less than, you know, the primary beam.
Right.
Because you've got your scatter radiation, and you've also got your primary and your secondary. You know, primary being from the actual beam, the source. The secondary radiation being that scatter radiation where it's once it hits your matter, which is like your hand or whatever structure it's hitting, it bounces off and like it scatters, which is that's why it's called scatter radiation.
So I think for the Bromigos, so they could understand what you're kind of doing as well. From what I understand, when you put your hand down and they're going to do an X-ray, this is also my idea of what it is. It's like almost like if light is going through your hand and making a marker down below, so it can see what your hand, everything is going on with your hand, and kind of leaves like if you got a flashlight or like something to like flash it on there, and it leaves the mark though. Or like paint.
The way I've always explained it, and the way that like the most simplest form, because it's like there's a lot more that goes into radiation. Like there's a ton that technically goes into it. Like you can really go down to the specific where it's like, oh, and the atom, an electron gets hit by the K shell, out of the K shell, and it becomes
like
ionizing.
If you could simplify
simplifying it all the way down to like the just purest simple form. Just think of it like a shadow. Like, just like you said. And I think I've explained it to you, or I've explained it to some people where it's like, it's literally just like a light. Just think of it like a light. It's
very strong light.
It's not like a picture. Think of it like a light, and it's just casting a shadow. And that shadow is the image. That's it. So all you're seeing is, it's literally, it's literally like just light passing through, and it's creating a shadow. So, I mean, that's why, like, you can even think of it. I don't know if you ever knew, like, but like when during like World War II, when
I've seen the documentaries. When they saw it, they would have the little goggles on, but a lot of people could say that they could see their bones because that radiation was hitting when the bombs were dropped. They could see their bones because that radiation was so potent that they could see the inside of their flesh.
But not just that, but also like there were certain places where there was people's shadows
that were marked
on there, and it's like technically those were images, like those were like
X-rays, but like full body X-rays left on the ground or on walls. So because of how strong the radiation is.
So radiation is
it's a crazy
all the different types of radiation. Like there's ionizing, there's gamma, there's alpha, there's beta, there's just a ton of different types of radiation. There's ultraviolet, you want to say.
I've heard other people say, I don't know what kind of radiation it is, but if you could imagine that radiation is so dangerous because it's like a bullet that can go through you without really piercing anything.
Yeah.
That's how dangerous it is. Imagine just a
Yeah.
bullet going through you, but instead of puncturing, it's just radiation going through you
Well, yeah, like,
and
you
can
know,
kill you
yeah.
essentially because
Yeah,
that's
there's
it's
certain types
causing
of radiation.
damage because it's like a bullet,
Yeah.
but without making a hole.
And that's why I say, like, you know, and that's why we were taught, like,
It's cooking you from the inside out.
all types of radiation, you know, is harmful. You know, regardless of, you know, how much or how little or, you know, what type, every single type of radiation is going to be harmful. And it's going to change, it's technically changing your biological code. You know, you're technically, you know, the Joel you were before that x-ray is now technically a completely different Joel.
Because of the radiation that went through you.
Yeah. Like, if you were to have a kid, now I'm not going to say, like, if you were to have a kid before and you were to say you had the exact same kid after the x-ray, I'm not going to say they're going to be completely different, but in the genetic code, they'd be a lot different
because
just from
the radiation that went through your body.
So I you know,
that's crazy.
Like, it gets me fascinated. I kind of like conspiracies too. So, like,
what kind of conspiracies?
Well, no, like, I just mean, like, conspiracies, like, in, like aliens, like, you know, I've always, like, really, like been fascinated by that type of stuff. So, like, I feel like radiation itself is, like, it's almost kind of like a conspiracy in its own, where it's like, dude, like, there's so much stuff that you can do with it, so much stuff that it's, like, that it affects, like, I don't know, like, it's just one of those things that it's just, like, it's always interesting. Well, at least within the last couple of years, it's interested me.
Okay, and then for the bromigos that might want to look into becoming X-ray technicians like yourself, what would you recommend for them, and what tips and advice you would recommend for them if they were looking into becoming an X-ray technician?
If you're looking to become an X-ray technician, typically I would maybe a year ago, or maybe when I was in the school, I would say go the route I did, but because it took so long, and, like, it took longer than it should have, I'd say try to get into the actual 2-year one and becoming a radiation technician. So try to go for that program itself. Don't try to go limited to the radiation technician.
It'll just take you longer.
Yeah, well, there's a possibility it could take longer. Like, for me, it's taking longer. So,
it just depends on your area.
Yeah, it just depends. It depends on procedures coming in. It depends. There's a lot of things that take into account. But I would if I could do it all over again, I'd probably go straight through the radiation technician. And also, I don't want to burn out my school, but I don't really like my school. Aside from my instructor was one of the best instructors I've ever had. I mean, obviously it's, focusing just on radiation, but the school was, I didn't like them. I would not recommend my school. Let's just put it like that.
You think there's alternative schoolings that you could go to, or the full-on 2-year program?
Absolutely. Try to find a full 2-year program. Try to, look for a good school. Look for, all that. Do your research. Just try to, if you're really interested in it, do some research. It took me like 6-7 months, just kind of pondering and looking at X-rays before I actually committed to doing it. Because before, with psychology, I just had the idea, like, I want to help people, so psychology was the thing. But I never actually did the research, and then so when I actually did find out, like, what psychology was, I didn't like it. So, do the research,
So in other words, whatever you're going to do, if it's X-ray technician, if it's limited X-ray technician, if it's psychology, if it's anything else, do your research. Do plenty of research where you can know what the best route is.
Yeah.
And that way, research like this, like watching this podcast and learning about what you ran into and what the potential of someone else running into, and learning from it and actually being able to make a decision from there after you've gathered enough information to find the best path.
Yeah. And, initially the thing that you want to do when you're looking for a career, when you're looking for a job, or when you're looking for a future, you want to find something you love. You want to find something you're passionate for. Because if you're not, then it's just a job. But if if you actually love what you're doing, then it's no longer a job. It's just part of your life. And that's like, for me, at least, like, that's what I feel like. I don't feel like I'm at a job anymore. You can say I'm in my career now, but I feel like it's just part of my life now. Like, it's something I'm actually excited about, something I'm passionate about. Yeah, obviously, work is work. You're gonna have those tough days. You're gonna have those, those times where you're just like, oh, I don't want to go, or like, what I mean. But for the most part, like, I finish my day always thinking like, man, I'm blessed. Like, like, this is where, like, there's few people, like, I remember me, at least, being in property management, being at the corporate office, working a 9 to 5, and just thinking like, man, like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, like, and there's probably so many, like, a bunch of bromigos out there that are like thinking, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, but like, it's such a joy. Like, it's like, it honestly makes me so happy to be able to, like, to say like, oh man, I'm excited to do this the rest of my life. Like, I'm actually happy, like, I finally made it. Like, yeah, I've got a bunch of more years to come, like, probably more school to come, a lot more, advancing, and trying to learn extra things, trying to learn extra modalities. But I'm excited because this is the field that I'm in, and this is the field that I chose, and the field that I feel like is a part of me. So whatever it is that you do, look for. Don't settle for less. Settle for the best, or don't settle for less. Always try to achieve the best. And try to just find something you love, because
It's different. It's different once you actually find something that you enjoy.
yeah,
Because you now have, like, almost like a sense of purpose,
exactly.
and you want to go to work because you want to learn more, because you not only, okay, yeah, sure, there's a potential to move up and get more pay than what you're getting paid right now, but there's also a possibility that you're going to learn more, like how you're saying, how interesting it is to learn about different radiations. Like, the fact that you said you named like 5 different ones, that I was like, I thought all radiation was the same.
No.
But like, there's different types of machines that you guys use, the different types of things that you actually do. Like, I didn't even know that you drew blood or did the COVID test. I thought that was like nurses or something like that.
Well, it's medical assisting.
But yeah, that was stuff that I didn't even know technicians could do that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have that now as like a notch under your belt, and you enjoy what you do, it's going to be that much better and that much more fun when you decide, let me go for that full X-ray technician position, or let me try to get another certification, like you said, CAT scan.
Yeah, CAT scan, MRI,
all that stuff.
Radiation, maybe.
That's going to be even better once you get to that point, because you'll be able to be like, okay, I started here, but now I'm here, and there's this much more stuff that I can learn. And this is the because what if, like, by the time you get to it, what you enjoy the most is the MRIs. Like, MRIs is like, that's the scan when they scan the brain, right?
Honestly, I don't even remember which one it is. Like, I'm telling you, it's been so long since I've done tests. Right? But there's one.
Well, that one is another.
I want to say MRI is tissue. No, one of them focuses on the bone, and the other one focuses on tissue. I think CAT scan might be the tissue, and I think MRI might be the bone.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the brain, but I could be wrong. I mean, I don't even know. But either way, to get that certification, you need to learn all that stuff and take the test. And then once you get to that, imagine like, oh, dude, this is what I love doing. And then now you can find a job at a local hospital or something like that, or urgent care or something like that they might have that, which I don't think they would have it. Probably a hospital.
Yeah.
And you'd probably enjoy doing that for the rest of your life, because it's like, you really like doing that. You really like being an expert and like the top technician that knows how to do MRIs or CAT scans or whatever it is, and you learn a lot from it.
Yeah, and the thing, at least with like that, I've always liked with healthcare is you always need it. Like, everywhere you go, you're gonna need healthcare. Kind of like with you, They're always gonna need plumbers. They're always gonna need someone to, you know.
Yeah.
You always need plumbers. You need, water's gonna pass through somewhere or another. Like, you need plumbers.
New
In the
buildings,
same
old
way,
buildings.
in the same way, healthcare, someone's always gonna get hurt.
Well, yeah, they
Someone's
always
always gonna,
say they always say like my dad always told us, get into a line of work somewhere along the line of these few areas, and
Yeah.
it's because there's always someone that needs one of these people, which is
Right.
teachers, police officers, or law enforcement,
Right.
and anything in the medical field. Because of the fact that you're right, no matter what, no matter where you go, there is going to be that need for an x-ray technician. For me, it's a little bit different, but it's also one of those essential jobs because
Yeah.
there's always going to be a plumbing job
Yeah.
that needs to be done. There's
There's
always
gonna
going to
be
be
a
pipe that's broken, pipe that's leaking,
Yeah.
pipe that needs to be fixed, something that needs to be done, something along the line of that where it's plumbing related, because
Yeah.
plumbing can go into so many different categories, but that all in itself, it's never ending because of the fact that things get old, things break, and new places get built, mistakes are done, and things just happen.
Yeah.
So it's always great to find something that you're happy with the end result at the end.
Yeah.
Any other advice you'd give to anybody that's thinking of becoming an X-ray technician, as far as like a little bit of anything?
I mean, if you didn't study before, you're gonna have to start studying.
Study before.
And if you did study before, you're gonna have to study even harder.
Is there something that someone could do before they get into school that you would recommend? Maybe reading a book. Maybe there's a different course.
Yeah, I mean, so like one of the hard things.
Watching a video or something.
One
like
of
that.
the hard things. I mean, eventually you kind of get used. Like it takes a bit of time, but learning the procedures. There's a lot of procedures. The thing is, like, the other thing is, like, there are certain doctors. Like, it's crazy because it's like you have certain procedures, right? Where, like, if somebody, like, say somebody comes in with a broken hand, or actually I'll say an ankle, because there's different ways to do an ankle. Somebody comes in with an ankle. There's basically the same thing, 3 views that you really need. There's the AP, there's the oblique, and what's called the lateral, which is the side view. But there are certain doctors that prefer the Mortise instead of the oblique, which, for those of you, or I'm sorry, the Mortise instead of the AP. So for some people, it's
what is Mortise?
The Mortise is, there's a certain like a groove in between the bones of the the tibia and the talus, which is on the foot, or maybe it's the fibula, the talus. Either way, there's a certain opening to where when you angle it correctly, it's just about a 15 degrees in, and you'll see there's about there's an open groove. So when you turn your foot in 15 degrees, there's an opening in the bone to where you can see right past it, and you want to be able to see. Some doctors prefer that view. Other doctors are just like, no, give me the AP, which is just straight. So
learning
the procedures.
Is there somewhere that they can go to get that? Like online, probably.
YouTube videos. I mean, honestly, like there's different ways. I mean,
are they all the same? The procedures? They're not like different.
Well, like I said, like certain doctors want them some way, certain doctors want them another way.
No, but I mean, like,
you just gotta learn all the ways.
Oh, okay, okay, all the different ways. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
I mean, unless you get to a job and it's like, okay, like this doctor wants it this way, and you've been working there for years, and it's like, okay, you don't really need to practice the other ones because they don't really want them, and they don't really use
but it's
them.
always good to know
about
them.
It's always good to know all of them,
because someday, like, if that doctor leaves on vacation and another one comes by and says, I want this angle,
or
you have to be prepared to modify
or whatever. Yeah, you gotta be prepared to, like, know how to do that.
Know how to do it.
And just understanding, like, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say, like, try to work on this before you even get to it, because there's so much information that you learn through there. It's like, I feel like almost everything that I learned, like, there wasn't really anything, like, even the procedures, I'd say, like, I really couldn't even probably learn them before I took the course, before I went to the program, before I went through all the classes and everything. Because it's like, man, there's so much information, and it's like it's just tough to really be able to say like, oh, do this before you get there.
Right.
I think the only thing I can say is try to develop a good study habit.
That's good.
Like that's the only thing I can truly say, because it's like
if you could get yourself into like a routine, like even if you're studying something else, get into that routine where you once can get into that position.
Yeah.
Studying is a normal thing.
Yeah.
Into your routine.
I mean, even like one thing that I feel like I've always been kind of good with, or like okay with, and maybe it's because I've worked in like other jobs where I was constantly talking to a person, either a client or a customer, or the in property management it was a lead. Try to work on people skills, because the more comfortable you make the person, the easier the process is for both of you guys. If I have a kid coming in and he's got a broken arm, and I just and I'm just talking to him, trying to get his mind off it, and I'm just kind of like having him like move, because like kids when they're young, like
they want to move around, especially if something's broken.
Yeah, it depends, because some kids are really cool. Like they're like, "Is it broken? Oh my gosh, that's so cool!" And they're like,
moving around.
Some kids are really funny. Other ones are like, "Ow!" It's like I didn't even touch it, and they're like, "Oh," It's true. Even some adults are like that too. Like it's like, bro, come on. I've worked with kids that have broken, bones, and they're not even crying, bro. Come on, toughen up. But no, like the more comfortable you can get them, and kind of like off the idea that like something could be broken, something could be hurt. The more like comfortable you can make them, the easier it is to do your work, and you're not having to struggle. Like keep your hands still, like don't be shaking, because if they're crying, they're shaking, and when they're shaking, it's going to produce a blurry image.
Right.
And it's like you don't want that, so it's like, okay, now I have to compensate for them shaking, so now I have to adjust my technique because they're shaking. It's a lot of stuff, so you're better off just trying. I mean, one of the things, just work on your people skills.
Because regardless, you're gonna need them once you're on the job. It's not part of the job, but it's part of the job.
Yeah.
In a way,
you're always gonna, it's not like, I've worked with technicians that have like little to like no people skills. Like I actually remember working with one guy, and he was very serious, and it was actually at the pediatric side again. And he was really mean to the kids. Like he was like, sit there. He was a very firm, very kind of meanish. And he'd be like, put your hand like this, and he would do it, X-ray it. Okay, put it like this, and like almost like move there. And one thing they tell us is never, like, especially when it comes to trauma, never like physically touch or like move them,
because you could hurt them.
Because you could hurt them even more, and possibly even break it even more. Injure them even more.
Right.
So, but he was doing that.
Dang.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that he was doing that was really bad. But
that's true. But about it though, with the customer service, because that's what I call it. Because if you think about it, people skills, customer service.
Yeah.
Regardless if I get a job and I have to go talk to someone.
Yeah.
I always think when I go do a job, one, I need to figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
Two, I need to figure out what the symptoms of the problem are, so I can determine what really is the problem. Because if someone calls me and says, "Oh, there's a leak," but I don't ask them questions, and I'm not like give them customer service, I'm not going to be able to get those questions, because then they're going to be like, "Oh, whatever, you figure it out."
Yeah.
And that could solve a lot of time for me, because it's like, let's say if I talk to this lady, she says that there's a leak, and I'm like, okay, where's the leak? In the conference room. All right, where specifically in the conference room? Oh, okay, well, it's coming from the roof. And then I ask her, has this happened before? If it's happened before, what day was it? Was it raining outside? And she says, oh yeah, it was raining the last time it happened, and it rained last night. So it's like, okay, so it might not even be a pipe that's leaking. It could be a roof leak. And that could solve all the problems already. Yet, if I don't give that customer service where it's like, oh, hi, how are you doing, blah, blah, blah. If she sees me and she's like, okay, well, it's the conference room, go figure it out.
Yeah.
I now have to go over there, and I'm looking, investigating, wasting more time to try to find a problem that isn't even plumbing related. It's the roof was leaking.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that you can, I always say, like, you can solve the problem before you get there. if you talk to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to the customer, this line was clogged, or this was leaking, or most of the time the communication drops. So, I called for a leak, not for a clog. And you're like, well, the work order says clog, and I checked everything and there's nothing clogged. Oh, well, it wasn't a clog, it was a leak. So somewhere there was a communication drop, and now you spent all that time wasting trying to find for a clog when there was no clog.
Yeah.
Entirely different system that was the water leak or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can easily, if you dealt with a specific area of expertise in like plumbing or X-ray technician, most of the time, just by the questions you ask, you can solve the problem. Yeah. Know what angle you're gonna have to X-ray later on or whatever, based on the answers given.
Yeah.
So,
and like when I'm taking vitals, I'm asking them questions like, where does it hurt? When did it start hurting? What caused it? You know. So if I don't ask any of those questions, then it's like, if they just tell me, oh, I have pain in my back. Oh, okay. Like, okay. All right, let's go take an X-ray. And you know, say I take an X-ray, and you know, no, I don't see anything broken. Like, you know, I end up asking the question after I already X-rayed it, like, so what happened or whatever. And, you know, the lady tells me or something, you know, like, oh, well, you know, I'm also having trouble, like, peeing. I'm also having trouble with this. Then I'm thinking, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, shoot, it was never even the spine. It could have been, you know, a UTI, or it could have been something else.
It could have been something
else.
It could have
been, you know, something, you know, that, because
that had nothing to do with the break.
Yeah, nothing that has to even do with the bone, you know.
And now you pump radiation.
Exactly, and now it's like, oh, great, like, you know, all because I didn't communicate, all because I didn't ask the right questions. You know? And
yours is a little bit, well, obviously, both can be detrimental, but yours is a little bit more because of the fact that you're pumping radiation into someone.
Yeah.
Even though it's a small amount and it's not dangerous or anything like that, but
it's dangerous.
Oh, it's dangerous, but it's like you could have stopped that from happening if you asked the right question. When did this happen? How did it happen? Did someone did you fall recently? Did you get in a car accident at all? Like what's going on?
And like I said, like, you know, that especially, but even when you're in the room, like I said, if they're like shaking, if you're not being able to calm them down and be able to be like, try to get their mind off of, you know, what's even going on, if you have to, then if they're like all stressed and stuff and moving around, like, are you almost done, you know, blah, blah, and you're not calming them down, that could cause a repeat X-ray, which is just even more radiation.
Like if they keep moving around,
it's like,
jittery or
they
something.
missed it because you're moving around and blah, blah. It's like, no, it's kind of your job, you know. A lot of times we'll be like, oh my gosh, this patient keeps moving, like, but it's like
each time
it ends up
more radiation.
It ends up being the tech's fault. Like, you got to find a way to either, you know, if they can't stop moving, because there's times
wait a little bit maybe.
There's times where I would have like an autistic person come in and like they're having trouble moving, and the parents or something are like, you know, they're trying to get them to stay still or something like that, and it's like, but it's your job to like try to calm them down, like try to like, you know, try to just get it done. Your job is to get the image. Like, that's your job. Your job doesn't matter how you get. Like, okay, obviously it matters how you get it. Like, you're not gonna like.
But in other words, do whatever you can to make it as easy as possible for you, so that you don't have to do it multiple times. Or like if, like you said, they're jitterish, they keep moving. Like if you can wait like 5 minutes, calm them down, tell them a story. I don't know, talk to them. Maybe they just want to get something off their chest, and then get ready for the test or like the radiation X-ray. That would help you, because it's like, okay, I waited 5 minutes versus taking like 6 photos of the same thing because you kept moving.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
then,
where it would
come in. And most of the time, you know, if you do take those photos, like before you even take them, like you're like, like, you know, like, man, this one came out blurry, but it's like I can kind of see it. It's like, and sometimes you're like, well, this guy keeps like giving me a pain in the butt. Like, I'm just gonna send it to a doctor, and the doctor's just gonna be like, I can't see it. I need you to redo it.
Go back again.
Go back and do it. And it's like you're wasting so much time. You're wasting, you know, you're damaging this person even more. It's just, you know, it's better just to work on people skills. You know, try to get them, you know, thinking about something else.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Well, I think we're getting close to not only Mexico, but ending this podcast. This is a good, pretty much almost 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah. So, any last words for our bromigos?
Stay fresh, stay hidden.
Stay fresh, stay hidden. Camelone
Camelone, 2050.
2050.
No, just again, just whatever you find, whatever you're looking for, whatever purpose you have, make sure you love what you do.
Love what you do. Do plenty of research, and if you guys want to see one of Danny's songs
Oh yeah.
drop on here on UNFC, comment down below so that
go to the GoFundMe. It's gonna be on the link.
I don't imagine.
No.
So that we can get Danny to make a song for us. Maybe you can
I'll make a Bromigo one.
a Bromigo song. Yeah, you should make a Bromigo song. Maybe we can do it on the way back once we find
I'm telling you,
Alex.
I wish I had my guitar. It would have been so easy.
We'll buy you one right now.
Oh my gosh.
One of the little cheapy ones.
Ukulele.
A little ukulele.
Little Mexican one.
All right. Stay tuned for the next episode, our final episode. Next episode is going to be episode 13. We're going to finish this off, season 3, and then eventually start season 4. So one more episode, last episode for the season, and then getting ready to launch season 4 of UNFC. Stay tuned, stay fresh, stay hidden. We'll talk to you guys later.
Where's the